How you doing? Good morning. Monday it is, the 16th of December 2019. 9 days from Christmas Day. Hope you had a good weekend and you're refreshed. You might have worked it, I often say that, but thanks for joining me this morning. It's just after 9:30 UK time and I am coming at you from Salford in Greater Manchester. Yeah. Bit of Greta in the news today. Greta Thunberg. We might talk about her in a few minutes' time. You can chat away, as I know many of you do. So chat to your heart's content there on the chat. Well, you probably won't be surprised that the newspapers are again very election-centric and will be, I suppose, for the next few days. But we'll dive right on in there. I will have a look at the chat in a few minutes' time. Jennifer Garcia is up and about having a stroll at 4:30 in Florida. You mad woman, Jennifer. You loony. What are you doing out and about at 4:30 in the morning? I bet you live in one of those gated communities in Florida with a couple of alligators at the gate to ward off would-be thieves. Very early. That's the kind of thing I do. Get up very early and go out. I think it's a bit more dangerous where I live, though, than where you live. Is it dangerous, is it? Right, we'll kick off with the Telegraph then. I don't go in any particular order. I go in the order I get them from the website that I steal the pictures from. Yeah. There's a number of websites that host pictures, that post pictures of the front pages of the papers. I steal from them all. I steal from the thieves. The Daily Telegraph, Labour war as stupid voters get the blame. What's that all about? Well, Caroline Flint, a former Labour MP. A woman once tipped to lead the party. She's one of Blair's girls, Caroline. Caroline Flint lost her seat. She told Sophie Ridge on Sky News yesterday morning that Emily Thornberry, the shadow foreign secretary, actually mentioned to one of Caroline Flint's colleagues that Thornberry allegedly said my voters or my constituents weren't stupid. They didn't vote to leave. She implied that people who voted to leave were stupid. Thornberry. She denies this, of course, Emily Thornberry. The Telegraph has gone big on this story. I have no idea why. It's not really a big story, is it? There it is inside the Telegraph. Labour leadership contender Emily Thornberry accused of calling northern voters stupid. You can see why Thornberry is very, very angry with Caroline Flint, because Thornberry presumably sees herself as, well, as a contender in the forthcoming leadership race, which apparently is going to kick off on January the 7th. The runners and riders will be raring to go from January the 7th. That's according to Jenny Formby in Labour. So she's wound up by that. She's triggered because she knows that just the mention of it might harm her chances of being the next leader of the party. There you are. By the way, a number of Labour men and trade union men like Glenn McCluskey and others have been on television this morning telling us that no matter what happens, it must be a Sheila. It must be a bird. It must be a woman. It must be a woman that leads us out of Corbynism and into a new dawn for Labour. Must be a woman. It's about time we had a woman leading the Labour Party. Jess Phillips. Fucking monster. Rebecca Long Bailey. Fucking monster. Or, I'm just going to be misogynistic today. I just thought I would be. I got up this morning, I said, today is Misogynistic Monday. Emily Thornberry. Yeah, so you're no while painting yourself there, Baldy, are you? Well, it's the BBG, not the BBC. The big Baldy Gammon. I'm not scratching my appendage, I'm scratching my leg. Now, yeah, so it should be a woman, should be a Sheila. A Sheila. Right. That's the Telegraph. What about the Guardian? Of course, the Guardian will be championing a woman. Rivals poised as battle for Labour's future begins. The ginger guy with the trophy, by the way, is Ben Stokes, because the BBC Sports Personality of the Year award took place in Aberdeen in Scotland last night, and jug-eared dickhead Gary Lineker fucked it right up by announcing halfway through who'd actually won, leading to cries of foul, cheat by many people on Twitter. So I'm told. I don't spend very much time on Twitter. Ben Stokes there, the champion of gay men. When he's out having a few beers, Ben likes to get into a bit of a scuffle, bit of rough and tumble, loves a bit of it, Ben. There he is. Ben Stokes. Discord at climate talks branded a betrayal. They eventually finished up that COP25 bollocks in Madrid, and they achieved fuck all. They just put about 200 million tons of CO2 in the fucking atmosphere and came to no decision. Not to mention the tons of CO2 they put every time they open their mouth to spout their bullshit about the doomsday cult. We're all going to die. Greta, yeah. The Guardian. Oh yeah, be Jesus. The iPaper then. Labour MPs attack Corbyn as battle for the party's future begin. Pictured are Rebecca Long-Bailey, and that looks like Caroline Flint and not Jess Phillips. Oh, it's Lisa Nandy. It's Lisa Nandy. That's Lisa Nandy. She's from the Northwest. That's how she talks. Misogynistic Monday. I don't care. Stop crying. I don't care, Lisa Nandy. She wants to be the Labour leader. Right, so, Lisa Nandy. Got to be a woman this time, you see. At least make it a good-looking woman, for fuck's sake. If we've got to watch it every Wednesday, PMQs, at least make her a fox, for fuck's sake. Make her a fox! Right, Metro. Bet you that woke you up. It's the Bacardi. Every Monday morning I start the week with a double Bacardi and Coke. Only on a Monday. That's the Metro. Strictly done dancing. Labour at each other's throats. That's the Thornbury Flint story. Yeah. Make her good looking, please. The Mail. Blueprint for Boris's Britain. The PM will put border control, NHS and investment in the North at the heart of his bid to govern for another decade. It will be another decade as well. Oh, it'll be another decade. And I'll tell you why. Tim Stanley in the Telegraph has a brilliant piece today about wokeness and about how the vast majority of people in the country have no time for it. But yet, the lunatics running the Labour Party for the last few years, well, they've embraced it with both fucking arms. Contrary to what people actually think, like ordinary people. So if you put Jess Phillips in, or Rebecca Long-Bailey, in 2024, the Tories, mark my fucking words now, extract this little bit of audio here, they'll get about 395 seats. Oh yeah. All Johnson will have to do is laugh across the dispatch box. That's all he'll have to do. Tim Stanley, a brilliant piece about how progressive politics has completely misread the mood, or those who push progressive politics misread what people actually feel about it. And the fact that people are sick to the back fucking teeth of being told that they are racist and that they are bigots and little Englanders. Misread that totally. People are fed up of being told about minorities and vulnerable groups. Fucking tired of it. So yeah, get Lisa Nandy in and get Rebecca Long-Bailey. Get one of those goons in. Johnson will sit back, light a big fucking cigar and say, lovely, lovely, I'll be here till 2029. The dog's barking out at somebody at the door. But the future Mrs. Allen is here, so she can answer it. The Financial Times. something on the Times about climate talks. Yes, the climate change talks break up in stalemate. Love it. Fuck him. Fuck Greta. You fucker. Right, the Times then. You're calling a 14-year-old little girl. I am. Misogynistic Monday. Johnson to take aim at MOD over wasted cash. That's in the Times today, but it's a weekend story. Heard a lot about this. There's Ben Stokes there, arms spread. That's not the World Cup photograph. That's when he saved the third Ashes test with an amazing innings to win the test. Yes, yes. I did see a super chat there coming in from Graham Booth from triggerwarning.tv. Top man. Graham, you're a gas man. There's no need for that. Thank you very much. Thoughts on Boris making BDS illegal, says Graham. Finally, we'll crush racism together, one nation. Well, we talked a lot, didn't we? And I know you've been talking on Trigger Warning about it. But Donald Trump has gone after what he calls anti-Semitism on university campuses in the United States, much to the chagrin of Jewish people in America who are not happy about it. Will Johnson take it on here in the UK? He might do. For those of our viewers who don't know, boycott, divestment and sanctions is a movement started. It's a Palestinian grassroots movement to get people to conscientiously not buy products manufactured in the occupied territories, or like myself, take it a bit further and not buy anything made inside Israel. Not because I hate Israeli people. I don't. But I have nothing but contempt for the government. And you know what I think about Israel and its legitimacy and all of that, so I'm not going to get into it here. Good point. Good question, Graham. Ma'an kesht makara. Ma'an kesht makara. That means a good question, my friend. Barry Murtaugh, how you doing, Barry? Morning to you as well, mate. Lovely to hear from you. Trigger Warning, by the way, it's on YouTube. It's triggerwarning.tv. The lads have two big shows, Tuesday and Thursday, but they drop in and out a lot in the week to comment on stories that might be developing or breaking. Do check it out. The Times then. That was the Times. Express. The BBC, Boris war with BBC over licence fees. Really? Tell you what's very interesting. I was out this morning. Around 6 o'clock I was in the park this morning, in the dark in the park with Jazz, who didn't bark. I'll give you fucking Grimesy or Stormzy. And I was listening to BBC Radio 5 Live, and Andy MacDonald, the MP from Middlesbrough, the Labour MP and a Corbyn fan, he got into a very fractious argument with Chris Warburton, who sometimes fills in for Nicky Campbell on BBC Radio 5 Live Breakfast. What were they arguing about? Well, the style of the time seems to be for Corbyn allies to go on the telly, like they did yesterday and today, and to blame the media for Labour's election collapse. To blame the media. And when Andy MacDonald said to Chris Warburton this morning, well, we always expect Labour to be demonised and vilified and to be lied about by the press barons in this country. What we've seen in this election cycle, said Andy MacDonald, we've seen the broadcast media joining in, including the public service broadcaster, and it got a bit heated. But ironically, despite the fact that he's won a landslide victory, Boris Johnson and his closest allies this morning, because I've been watching Kay Burley on Sky this morning, they're complaining as well about the media. So it's very interesting. And this idea that they want to decriminalise not having a TV licence is an interesting one. Do they mean it? I'm not sure. There'll be a Queen's speech on Thursday or thereabouts. We'll see. We'll see. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah. Christmas flu alert. GPs urge get the jab as cases rise. Yeah. We'll come back to that. We'll return to that. Here's the Mirror. Gift of life from NHS superhero. I haven't a clue, so we'll just move on. Didn't read that. I just don't care, you see. The Sun. I'm not one of those guys who ever goes, oh. I've in my life, I've never had a moment where I just go, oh. I don't see videos of puppies playing with kittens on YouTube and go, oh. I just don't give a shit. I have a heart of stone. I always have had. The Sun, Tamara's 50 million jewels gone in 50 minutes. Bernie Ecclestone's daughter. I mean, this is a case of tough fucking shit, Paddy, right? If you're stupid enough to leave 50 million quid's worth of jewels in an apartment, you fucking deserve to be robbed. End of story. You daft fucker. You daft bitch. Misogynistic Monday. Loads of opportunities this morning. Misogynistic Monday. What a tit! Right? How could you be sympathetic? If I was the detective who turned up, it'd be a case of, you daft bitch, love. I'll tell you what, I'm not going to commit any of my men to investigate this. Tough shit. Just walk away. No fucking investigation. Don't waste the man hours or the woman hours on it. Fucking Egypt. 50 million notes worth of jewellery. Fucker. Right, the Star. Star gets flack. Love Island shocker. Yeah, I actually know what this is about because I do read all the papers. The presenter of Love Island has apparently been beating the shit out of her boyfriends. Kicking the bejesus out of them. Beating the granny out of them. She's been beating the granny out of her boyfriends. Do you know, there's some men who would pay a lot of money for that. There are men who would pay quite a lot of money for that. She's in the wrong business. No excuse for women in this country to be unemployed. There is no excuse for women in this country to say that they don't have any money. More and more and more men are into being humiliated and beaten by women with no sex involved. Start a new career as a dominatrix. Get a loan from your local credit union. Buy some whips, some leather boots, some handcuffs. Kick the granny out of men and take £150 an hour per session. And, well, sounds like you've thought a lot about this, Richie. I have. If things ever go tits up, I'm going to be a gay dominatrix. I'm going to be a gay master. Beat the shit out of gays and get a load of money for it. Oh yeah. I have it all planned out, you see. I don't have a pension with any bank or credit union because I just don't have any money to have a pension. That's my pension plan. Gay dominatrix. Where were we? Which paper did we do last? The Star, right. Good morning to everybody who was on the live chat. 'Tis nice to be with you. To be with you, nice. Good morning, John Roherty there. Good morning to John Parsons, Salford. One of us. He's from God's country. Hi to Rosario. Good morning, Rosario. To KT in Portugal. To Wide Awake Radio. Thanks for the tip, my friend. Thanks for the tip. I'll look into that. A lot of people turn me down these days when I ask them to come on my radio show, and they tell me, nothing against you, Richie, but you have had some anti-Semites on, and I'm worried that I'll be tainted by association. Getting a lot of that these days, but I don't give a shite. I don't care. Yes, hi to John Sheridan. Let me go right down to the end. Skip to the end. Hi to Stu, 281. How you doing, Stu? Keep rolling the dice, but. And but is our Irish way of saying buddy or butty or butt. How you doing, pal? Lovely stuff. Paul Greystone. Just randomly saying hello to people here. Randomly. Yeah, Jean Ann is on there. Good morning, Jean Ann. She's about to be a septuagenarian. Jean Ann will be 70 on Wednesday. So make sure you find Jean Ann Crowley on Facebook. Get onto Facebook. She doesn't dwell on Twitter. And wish the soon-to-be 70-year-old Jean Ann Crowley a happy 70th birthday. Happy birthday, Jean Ann. Brilliant stuff. Graham says Boris has already announced it. Has he? I consume a lot of media And I haven't heard him say, I'm not doubting you, I'm not impugning you, but I didn't hear him say that. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. Willow says, Richie, you have mentioned already that you don't pay your TV license. I don't. Although you don't recommend others to follow your example. What I don't do, Willow, and I can't do, even though I'm not bound by the rules and regulations of Ofcom, I generally tend to agree with many of them. It's a criminal offence in this country not to have a TV licence. I wouldn't advise anybody to do anything that could get them into trouble. You make your own decision based of your own volition. You do that. You do what you want to do. But I wouldn't induce anybody to do anything. I don't think it's right for me to do that. Okay. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Wayne Davis says, come on, Richie, do a Christmas special on Boxing Day. Fuck off, Wayne. How about them apples? I will do the final Richie Allen radio show next Monday, the 23rd, and you won't see me again. You won't see me again till Sunday, January the 5th. Huh? Not thanks for the nearly 300 live shows you've done this, Richie. No, do a show on Boxing Day. No chance. My God. Lovely. Thank you, Wayne. Boxing Day, Wayne. Honest to God, even if I wanted to, mate. Even if I want to. I'll tell you where I spend most of Boxing Day traditionally. In a wheelbarrow, Wayne. Caroline has got to wheel me around from A to B every Boxing Day. I've got my own wheelbarrow with cushions and everything in it. Such is the levels of alcohol that I will consume on Christmas Day. I'll be wheelbarrowed around. I'll be in no condition whatsoever to do a radio show. No, she does pushes me around in a wheelbarrow like a guy on Guy Fawkes. I'm just completely incoherent. Think Father Jack Hackett times 20. Right, so Greta then is a bit of a lying bitch, misogynistic Monday. What a lying fecker Greta is, huh? Caught out by one of the German train operators, lying about not being able to get a seat, when in fact she had a first class seat and it was on them. You lying bitch. Fucking Greta, huh? Are you tired of Greta yet? There she is. Got into a bit of a spat with the train operator. The little prophetess of doom. How dare you? You have stolen my childhood. We have. I wish we fucking had, to be honest. What else have we got? Shane McGowan was on the Late Late Show. Did you see him, Gene, on Friday night? I didn't see it because I forgot. I knew he was going to be on, but I forgot. I do have access to RTE here, but I didn't think of it in time. But he was on and he was talking about the lyrics to Fairy Tale of New York, which is not only Christmas's greatest song, it's one of the greatest songs of all time, of course. The late, great Kirsty MacColl, of course. And that famous lyric, you scumbag, you maggot, you cheap, lousy faggot. Because not only last year were Radio 1 woke DJs saying, I can't play it in good conscience. I can't play it. I've got to play the version where the lyric is omitted. They're at it again this year. And Shane is like, there's nothing offensive to gay people in the lyric. Fuck off, basically. Shane. Gotta love Shane McGowan. One of our greatest ever lyrical geniuses. There he is. So he's on the Late Late Show. I suppose I can catch up and find it somewhere else. Wheelbarrowed around on Boxing Day. Or St. Stephen's Day, of course. Of course, they don't recognise St. Stephen here in Blighty, do they? They don't like St. Stephen. Do they? I don't know. Well, if you thought you'd had enough of this fecker. How many times does George Galloway have to fail to be elected before he gets the hint and just fucks off? Just fuck off, George. You know, do your RT show and fight with people on Twitter. You've got plenty of dosh. You're all right. Just go away. Now, Galloway's got a new Workers' Party of Britain. He said that the anti-Semitism claims against Jeremy Corbyn were a work of Goebbelsian fiction. Joseph Goebbels. Goebbelsian fiction, he said. Did Galloway. He's got a new political party. He's got a website and all. Got a website he has. He's very happy with himself, Galloway. George Galloway has always excelled at doing one thing and one thing only. Promoting George Galloway. That's what he does. Yeah. George Galloway. The Guardian is loving the Labour contest. Rebecca Long-Bailey on the left. Rebecca Long-Bailey. There's John McDonnell. He won't be in the contest, not only because he's as useful as tits on a bull. Useless. To his left and to our right is Angela Rayner. She's Ashton Way, Greater Manchester. Rebecca Long-Bailey is these parts. You might have a Greater Manchester-based Labour leader. Johnson is like this. Lovely. They'll get bogged down in policies of inclusivity and protecting the vulnerable, which I mentioned earlier on, things that the vast majority of people don't give a fuck about and are tired of hearing about, it must be said. Oh, they're tired of it. Here's a triggering story in the Mail. Why can't they go home, Daddy? Is a question often asked to Prince William. There he is, by his son and his daughter. I wonder, does he tell him the truth? What does he tell him? I'd love to be a fly on the wall there. What does he tell them? Ask your fucking granny. In fact, ask your great granny. Your granny is dead because your great granddad ordered your granny to be murdered. So ask your great grandmother. She'll explain to you why people are on the streets in great numbers these days. Kids. It's in the Mail. Homelessness is horrendous. And it's on the increase, of course. And you see it in cities like Manchester and Leeds and Liverpool and London, of course you do. Why did I put that photograph there of the evil children? The evil little bastards. Well, because we are being told this morning by every broadcaster, that your child might kill his or her grandfather by accident. Why? Well, because they are super spreaders. This is on skynews.com. Families urged to vaccinate children or face a Christmas to forget. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, I've got some audio to play for you on radio later. Unbelievable. Oh, it's propaganda. Fucking 101 this morning on Sky and the BBC. You see, kids are super spreaders because they run around hugging everybody with their snotty little noses. And they could give granny or grandfather the flu, you know. So get them vaccinated. Do it now. Yep. Madness. Look at the state of this, look. Madness, right? There you are. Look at this. Oh! If I can find the feckin' thing. Where are we? Where are we? Sky. Sky, sky, sky. Look at that. The NHS National Medical Director, Stephen Powis, urged the 25 million Britons eligible for the free vaccination, get your jab now. We know that children are super spreaders of flu, particularly around the holiday season when they're more likely to see elderly relatives. So our message is simple. The flu season is here. Get your jab now. What they don't, of course, talk about, and of course what Kay Burley didn't ask the doctor she interviewed this morning, was because Kay's a bit shit. Misogynistic Monday. Kay is more than shit. Kay didn't say, isn't it true that the vaccine never fucking works? The flu vaccine, that is. That's true, by the way. It doesn't work very often. Because it's morphing, you see. The strain is morphing all the time, and well, it's not our fault. We think we've got the right one this year. You're better safe than sorry. No, I'll take my fucking chances. I'll take my chances. So that's all over the place today. The flu, and how your children are super spreaders. Yeah. Right, couple more quick stories before I move on. Vulnerable people and minorities need more protection, according to the Archbishop of Canterbury. Jesus Christ. Yeah, this guy is a world-class hypocrite. Yeah. Where is he? So this guy has been writing in The Big Issue. And he wants us to reflect on the state of vulnerable people, which has worsened, he says, in the last 10 years. Homelessness is worsening and it's terrible. And that's why I call him a hypocrite. Excuse me. Because they've got lots and lots and lots and lots of churches, don't they? The Church of England. And what do they do with those churches? Well, they lie idle most of the time. And of an afternoon, they are locked up with heavy security. It's not exactly what Jesus' message was now, is it? Lots and lots and lots and lots of homeless, says the Archbishop. But we're not going to do fuck all about it in the church. We could open the doors and get some sleeping bags and get some tents. But no, some put-you-up beds, some foldable beds. No, we won't do that, even though Jesus told us. Interestingly enough, this fucker was asked about Prince Andrew. And he said, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody is human. I am not commenting on any member of the royal family except to say that I am astonished at what a gift they are to this country. He's astonished at what a gift they are. The royal family, the pedo lovers. What a gift. What a gift. A fucking gift. There's never been a bigger parasite than a royal family member. Jesus wept. He met the Pope as well last week, and what did they talk about? Well, they talked about God. What else would they talk about? They talked about God, about praying, and about football. There you are. We make jokes and we laugh. It's just a conversation. Oh, fucking hell. What a cock. That's the Archbishop. Are you rushing now to get your children vaccinated to protect your senior relatives, are you? Are you? Right. Tim Stanley in The Telegraph. Very good. Here we go. Where is he? Where are you, Tim? Where are you, Tim? In The Telegraph. In Telegraph. Yes, there you are. This is good. This is good. Tim Stanley used to come on the radio with me in Spain back in the day, don't you know? And he was good. Tim. Yeah. Now, Britain's cultural elite, I touched on this earlier on, think those of us who voted for this Tory landslide are thick racists. Now, this is very good. It's what I was hinting at earlier on. You see these social justice warriors like Rebecca Long Bailey and the others completely out of touch with ordinary men and women. Ordinary men and women like myself. We're not racists. We're not homophobes. We're not bigots. We don't care about those sorts of things. We live submerged in a culture that is at odds with most people's values, yet it does its best to convince us that we are the few and they, the comedians, the actors, the academics, the artists, they're the many. They have turned us into strangers in our own land, writes Tim. It's very good. And he says, does Tim. We bring it up here so you can see a bit of it. You can see it there. He says, we live submerged. I already read that. He says it's comparable to a phenomenon observed in the USSR called hyper-normalization. This is good writing. The Soviet system was broken, but the state wouldn't admit it, and the ordinary people, because they weren't even allowed to think of an alternative, became joint actors in a theatre of the absurd in which communism was great and everyone was doing well. Britain in 2019 is a liberal fantasy land in which soaps, films, comedies and cartoons tell us everyone is woke, hates Brexit, worships the NHS like a pagan god, of course except the Tories who are evil and therefore definitely going to lose. Now, he expands upon the theme. Very good. He writes, when something happens you can't compute, you look for excuses beyond yourself. The election was rigged, the press was biased, or the voters are simply thick racists. Doesn't this create a serious crisis of legitimacy in British culture? How can our media and art be called representative when it doesn't reflect the views or tastes of the 52% who voted for Brexit? 17.4 million people, by the way. Liberal culture places tremendous emphasis upon diversity, as well as it should, says Tim. As well as it should, because art must never be a monolith and we want to encounter perspectives other than our own. But no sane definition of diversity excludes representation of the majority, to the point that many of us don't tune into certain shows anymore because they feel made for someone else and not very well. Very well put, Timothy. In that spirit, I am dreading to see what the BBC's Christmas adaptation of Dracula will be like. No doubt the Count has become a vegan, says Tim. It's very good, that. Now, sadly, for you, you've got to subscribe to The Telegraph or get off your lazy arse and go to the newsstand and buy it. There is one other story today before we go. I'm really looking forward to speaking to Diane Denizen later on the radio show. I extended an invite to Diane to come on the programme ages ago. But because of my own fault, and I've been covering other issues, I had other people on talking about gender dysphoria and puberty blockers for kids. Diane is a trans woman from Wales. We've been connected on Twitter for ages. Very interesting is Diane. She lives off grid in West Waterford, East Cork. Really interesting. And I've invited her on to talk about some of the issues around puberty blockers and trans folk and gender dysphoria. And I'm looking forward to that. She's going to be one of the guests on the radio show today, Diane. So, yeah, I think she'll make a very good guest. We'll have a good chat, we will, about lots of different things. We might have a bit of kind of final election analysis early on in the show. Right. Yeah. Right. One more story then. It's in the Times today. On that theme, children's book has been labelled anti-trans extremism. Why? Got to keep an open mind, you see. Because you don't know. I haven't read the book. Rachel Rooney has written a book called My Body Is Me, and it was illustrated by a woman called Jessica Alberg. This is Joni Walsh writing in the Times. An author and poet has said she's considered giving up after she was accused of peddling terrorist propaganda. Terrorist propaganda? Were the children joining the IRA? Were they running off to ISIS in their own bodies? No, because the book is about, Rachel says, helping youngsters to accept and understand their bodies. But transgender activists have said the book is terrorist propaganda. My Body Is Me has been described as representing an extreme ideology that explicitly targets children. Who says this? Well, another children's author, Clara Vulliamy. Is that how you pronounce that? Clara Vulliamy. She wrote the Dottie Detective series, and she's fired a shot at Rachel Rooney, accusing her of extreme ideology. Rooney says, I wrote the book, she said, to counteract an explosion of titles that promoted the idea that children who felt confused about their gender may be trapped in the wrong body. So she wrote the book because she's hearing and seeing a lot about children being trapped in the wrong body. So she wrote the book. She said the book taught children to be comfortable with their bodies and featured characters of different races and even some with disabilities. The book says you're born in your body, you don't have a spare, so love it, hug it, treat it with care. But she's been destroyed on Twitter by some trans activists. There you are. Yeah, that's one that's not going to go away in 2020, that particular issue, I don't think. So we'll have a nice rounded chat with Diane later on about it. And we'll have a bit of a news roundup. I will have a guest in hour one to talk about the election. There you are. I don't think I've forgotten any stories. No. Oh, there is one. One final one. And finally, on Misogynistic Monday, good start by brand new Labour MP. Brand new, first time Labour MP. She's gone all Latin American socialist. And she said, Nadia Whitome pledges to donate a huge slice of her 80 grand basic pay to charity so that she only earns a worker's wage of £35,000. What a dickhead. A worker's wage of £35,000. The vast majority of people in this country, sweet cheeks, they're not earning £35,000 a year or anything fucking like it. Imagine that. Imagine being that out of fucking touch with people on day one. 35 grand. What's the average wage in the country? Wait till you see now. Some newspaper will prove me wrong. Let me bring it up there. UK average wage. 28,677 quid a year is the average wage. I would have said around the mid-20s. I would have thought about 25 grand. 35 grand, I'd love to earn 35 grand a year guaranteed. Oh yeah. Fuck you know. I'm not lying. In the past, as a radio presenter and producer of skill, I have earned a decent wage. And I've earned more than that. And the last job I was offered back in 2014 by a very well-known radio station to co-present a breakfast show here in the north. I'm not going to tell you which one. I was offered just over 40 grand to do it. But then again, you know, talent. No, it's not 35 grand. It's 28 grand according to the Office for National Statistics. So she's out of touch on day one. Right, you heathens. Piss off and do some work for yourselves. That fucking house won't clean itself, you know. We will talk again at 5 on the radio show. Just to remind you how things are going to go. It's as normal. Of course it's as normal this week. Why wouldn't it be? Radio shows today, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Sunday View on Sunday. And next Monday is the 23rd. And there won't be any guests. I will open the phone and Skype at 5 o'clock. And I'll be playing a few Christmas songs. And I'll be blabbing away. I'll probably have a glass of wine or 6 during the course of the programme. And if you want to have a glass of wine as well and phone me up and have a chat with me about whatever, we'll do that. It'll be a phone in on the 23rd. Okay. Right, from the BBG, it's goodbye from me, and join me on the usual channels at 5 o'clock for lots and lots of diverse content about a wide diversity of subjects, a wide range of subjects. Triggerwarning.tv for Graham Booth and Hayden Hewitt. Ta-ta or ta-ra for now.